and get you for real.
Get real. Yeah, and I think it's hard for people to have that, separation or have that thought all the time. And I think I don't even know if I'd say a pet peeve, but something that you often see is that when you have that friendship, you lose that respect level, or that authority level, and maybe not you, but just in general. And I think that that's one of those that it's hard for people to be like, this is my friend, but he's now telling me something and like take it personal.
Right.
And I think,
that's definitely a downside to that style of like leadership.
Yeah. And I think that that's either why I've always been like trained that way. But then for me, being an athlete my whole life, it's never really been appropriate for me to hang out with a coach. I mean, it just, like the team might go over and have a team dinner with the coach, but then after that, you're not like hanging out with your coach or like going out to, get a pizza or something, not a drink. But yeah, so that was one of those that we were having like a conversation where you were kind of like laying down either like rules or just like expectations of like, if you want to make the American Open Series, this is what needs to happen.
Yeah.
And I think that having that switch and you being coach, I just felt like it needed to be said to where it was like, hey, like regardless of how anybody's taking this, like don't take it personal because this is Coach Rob, who owns the gym.
Not Buddy Rob.
Yeah, yeah. And so I think it's hard for people to kind of go back and forth, but I mean, you have to keep that respect and know that at the end of the day, like we're both working towards like a mutual goal. Mm-hmm. And I think it's hard to kind of get that because I feel like people come in possibly and like, oh, we're friends, like that's my coach. Like,
and I've had that not be good before, especially because, I'm from here. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm from like 30 minutes from here. Yeah. So there are a lot of people in the gym that I've known for long before the gym was open, and even some people that I've been friends with more recently. But like if I'm friends with someone mm-hmm. and then they start coming to the gym, or even just people in here, it just happens sometimes.
Yeah.
But like people won't do the shit that they don't want to do, even though I told them. Mm-hmm. And I'll be like, look. Just go fucking do those planks. Yeah. Like your abs are weak. Like you can't skip that stuff. Yeah. Like that's what's gonna make you better at weightlifting. Not necessarily doing never mind. Yeah, but like like accessory work. Mm-hmm. Of like pull ups plus back extension plus dips, and people are like mm-hmm. want to skip out on it. We're like, look, just you got to go do it. But it's like I have been in that situation before where people might not necessarily take things I say as seriously, mm-hmm. but they might have never been in a situation of having a coach or having, even if they did weightlifting or did CrossFit or whatever in another gym, making that switch from being like, this is what I do when I get off of work to being like, oh, I'm training. And that's like, you have to learn to take that direction. But also I feel like the longer that I've done it, and I'm still obviously like somewhat new to it, I don't really have a hard time telling people like, look, you have to do this or I'm going to stop telling you what to do.
Right.
And just either one's fine, but you got to I'm not going to tell you what to do if you're not doing it.
Right. And my thought with that too is you have to have the utmost respect for your coach to be coachable. And respect and trust is a different level in coaching. And I feel like if you haven't had that before, don't really, haven't been able to, and I think that was what was maybe awkward when I first started, is just how I saw it. And you were like, what are you doing? Like, I think that it was not even that it was something that we realized. But I mean, if you don't, and sometimes you come into weightlifting and it's a hard sport and you haven't had a coach and you're like, okay, this is just someone that going to the gym and he's programming. So it is interesting, but you have to be coachable. And I think that that's one of those things that maybe, isn't brought up or ever talked about. Because most of the time, if you come in and you're doing a sport and you're an adult, you've probably done a sport before.
Yeah. Or you could be like me and you didn't do shit.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I was saying is like for me to come in, having been an athlete and you being my coach, I feel like when I, came in and was like, all right, you are my coach and that is what you are. And you were like, hey, like you want to, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, haha, okay, I'm going to.
You want a pizza?
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's definitely interesting, and you have to, know how to play those roles, especially to be like friend and coach. But you do a good job, Coach.
Hey, thanks. Well, now that we've done up and praised me a bunch. You got anything else?
No, I think we covered a whole bunch of goodies in there.
Awesome. Well, I hope this was enjoyable.
Ooh, welcome back.
Yeah, sorry that it has been so long, but hopefully we'll get back on track with having guests. That is one thing about doing a podcast and having guests is like people that either I already know or I would meet, and they would like because of the podcast, they'd be like, God, how do you get all these people on there? I'm like, I fucking email everybody I can ever think of
every day.
Most of them don't
5 times a
respond.
day. Yeah.
So yeah, it's like pretty hard to get people on here. But I'm gonna get back on top of like there was a time where I was like, all right, I got to email 5 people a day, like literally, or just to like get one person like per week. Yeah, so we'll get back on top of having guests, and we actually have a couple that have confirmed wanting to do it. So now hopefully we'll just set up a date soon. Don't want to spoil anything too soon though, because I don't want to talk about it. I want to be about it. But if you want to follow us on Instagram, it is Out of Step Barbell, and we'll post a picture of any upcoming guests on there, and hopefully, like I said, 4 times we'll get back on our normal schedule, and we'll be back very soon.
Yeah, if you want to follow me on Instagram, I changed my Instagram name to ZS Warrior Princess. That's me, as in Xena, the Warrior Princess.
And you'll be hearing a lot more from Xena as these episodes continue.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody, and talk to you soon.
Yeah.